Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our reading of the first three scenes of Woody Allen's Don't Drink the Water. We're going to jump right in. Act 1, Scene 1. The curtain rises on the American Embassy in a small Iron Curtain country somewhere in Eastern Europe, where in our imagination we see a small but very quaint, charming, old-world little mansion that is done in the best of elegance. Here, dignitaries discuss, chat, have drinks, plans are laid and negotiations felt out, and where small parties or receptions are held. From down the staircase comes the tall, specter-like figure of Sister Drobny, a female priest who speaks with an accent. She faces the audience, and one can detect behind her eyes the faint glimmer of an eccentric.
Good afternoon. My name is Drobny, Sister Drobny. I am one of two female priests in this charming little communist country of 4 million people. 3,974,000 are atheists, 24,000 are agnostics, and the last 1,000 are Jewish. As you can see, I do not have a large following. Outside of these, 6 years ago, I ran in here seeking asylum from the communist police. Outside these walls were 4 million people ready to kill me. My choice was simple. I could remain here in the safety of this embassy, or I could go outside and try the largest mask reintroduction in history. I decided to stay. And I've been here ever since. The head of this embassy is Ambassador Amelia McGee. She was put in charge by your government because of her firm grasp of world events.
Enter Ambassador McGee.
Each morning for the past 4 years, she enters the room, surveys the scenery, and graces us with her clarity and wisdom.
Jesus, look at all those communists.
This is symbol of her ability to sum it all up brilliantly.
Conroy enters.
Oh, I am the only man in the Foreign Service who knows the words to the second stanza of the Star-Spangled Banner.
All of Ambassador McGee's vital memos are sent through Mr. Conroy.
Mr. Conroy, take a vital memo to all embassy personnel. Unless a new embassy building is purchased, we must think of new ways to make room in this small mansion. It was unfortunate that when Henry Kissinger passed through the country last week, we were unable to put him up for the night. It was equally unfortunate that no one here recognized him. See, this does not happen again.
Conroy exits and Axel McGee enters.
And this is Ambassador McGee's other assistant. Not overly bright-eyed, not exactly efficient. In fact, he is the only man in the Foreign Service that mistakenly wrapped his sandwich in a peace agreement.
I've worked in 17 U.S. embassies, some for as long as 3 weeks.
This young man has worked in this embassy for 6 months. That's the longest he's ever worked at any embassy. Why? Because he's pleasant. He's eager. He's the ambassador's son.
You sent for me, Mom?
I'm And this is where I will leave and head upstairs.
Axel, because of my superior record here as the leader of my party, they would like to discuss the possibility of placing my name in the coming gubernatorial race in our state.
Mom, I think you'd make a wonderful governor. Your broad outlook would appeal to psychotic liberals as well as militant fascists. Something for everyone.
Naturally, in my absence, this embassy must be run with the same brilliant efficiency it is accustomed to when I am here.
Well, this is a quiet little outpost. There should be no trouble.
I'll level with you, Axel. I'm tempted to leave Mr. Conroy in charge, but it looks bad for the family image.
Mom, the Foreign Service is my whole life. Give me a chance to prove myself once and for all. What can go wrong in 2 weeks?
You were in Brazil for 2 weeks, and you had them importing coffee.
Mom, I know how much that governorship means to you, and I'll see that this embassy remains a credit to your record.
The only important guest we are going to have in the next 2 weeks is the Sultan of Bashir.
I'll see that the Sultan gets the royal treatment.
Oh, you sure will, Axel. I'm on the verge of concluding an oil deal with the Sultan that will make me very big next November. Axel, most people start their sons in the mailroom and let them work their way up. I started you on top and you've worked your way into the mailroom. This embassy is a clean start for you. If it is not run letter perfect, I'll fire you. And if your own mother fires you, it's the end of the line.
The
Goodbye.
ambassador exits.
Have a good flight, Mom. Mr. Conroy,
You called?
for the next 2 weeks, I'm in charge of the embassy. Business will go on as usual. It would mean a great deal to me for your full cooperation.
Oh, your mother should have known better than to leave a man in charge who was asked to leave Africa.
That's not fair. Some of the best men in the Foreign Service have at one time or another been recalled from a country.
Oh, Africa is a continent. You've been recalled from many other places, including Japan. You never mentioned that.
You know I've had some bad breaks career-wise.
And you were hung in effigy in Panama.
I admitted I was.
Yes, but you didn't say it was by our own embassy.
The phone rings. They both go for it, but Conroy realizes who's in charge and lets McGee get it.
Yes. Yes, this is the American Embassy. Oh, no, Ambassador McGee is not here. She's on her way back to the United States. This is Axel McGee. I'm in charge in her absence.
The sound of 2 gunshots.
What the hell was that?
It's the communist police. They're chasing people. They look like tourists. Mr. McGee, they're running up the steps of the embassy.
We better open the door quickly.
McGee runs and opens the door, and in burst Mr. Walter Hollander and Mrs. Hollander with their adopted daughter, Susan.
Help! We're American tourists. The communists are after us. They think we're spies.
We're Americans, I swear. Tom Brady, Hershey bars, Barbara Streisand. I pledge allegiance to the flag.
And to the republic for which it stands.
2 more gunshots.
It's the communist police.
On vacation. Run.
The Hollanders run off, and an armed guard races in, followed quickly by Crojack.
Where are they? Hand them over to us!
Who? What? What did they do?
They were taking pictures in a restricted area.
Well, that doesn't make them spies. They're American tourists. Didn't you see the shirt that guy was wearing? What did they take pictures of?
Missile sites and rocket installations? Oh, they have seen too much. They must die.
A searchlight shines through the window.
I'm sure they didn't realize. Look, I'll give you the film. In fact, I'll give you the whole camera.
Hand them over to us now, or we will drag them out and shoot them.
This embassy is United States territory. Nobody can be dragged out of here and shot without the written consent of the American government.
Leave these premises at once. Your behavior is an extreme violation of international conduct.
I have never seen you before. Who are you?
I'm Axel McGee. I'm in charge of the embassy in my mother's absence, and I order you to leave at once. Guns or no guns. If you don't go, Mr. Conroy will throw you out.
The chef enters.
Oh, Mr. McGee, something is happening.
Yes, Chef, I know.
There are soldiers surrounding the house, and they're staring into the kitchen.
They won't hurt you.
Oh, I can't cook if I'm being stared at. I'm that kind of person.
And who are you?
I am personal chef to Ambassador McGee, formerly chef to the King of Norway, formerly chef to the White House, and formerly chef to the Queen of England. Before that, I did some cooking.
Don't you terrorize our help.
I had a cake in the oven. Your gunshots made it fall.
Mr. McGee,
The chef
stand
exits.
firm. I'll lodge a formal protest.
You stand firm. I'll lodge the, look. You spy on us. We spy on you. Everybody knows it. Why do you suddenly pretend it's so unusual?
You do spy on us.
Huh? What?
Yes. See? And how often?
All the time. It's no secret. Espionage goes on between our countries all the time. Why be so hypocritical about it?
Does, huh? Well, and they are spies?
What? No, maybe. I don't
How
know.
do you know they're not spies? Oh, you never saw them before.
Are you going to tell me that your country doesn't send spies into the United States as tourists?
Then you do admit they are spies.
What if they are? That doesn't give you the right to enter this building illegally. You're going to start an international incident. This is not just an outrage, but a vicious and cruel attack against the whole free world. I wouldn't be surprised if China joins us.
Conroy enters.
Mr. Krojack, I have your Foreign Affairs office on the phone. They want you to report back immediately.
He admitted they are spies.
You didn't you, Mr. McGee?
Well, that could, it's possible.
He admitted it. I have it here on tape.
Oh, I did, in a sense, Mr. Conroy. You know, we spy, they spy.
We do nothing of the kind.
Actually, we do. If we all stop being hypocritical and be honest for once.
That's enough, Mr. McGee.
We don't even have a James Bond like the British.
Speak louder, please.
Now, look, don't twist my words. You come barging in here with guns, then you wonder why your brutal dictatorship gets a bad name.
This embassy will be surrounded from this day on. The spies will either come out or spend the rest of their life here. But, first the world will hear their confession.
Krojack
Goodbye
exits.
for now.
Krojack exits.
How could you do it? How could you admit that they were spies?
I panicked.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking, don't panic.
Walter enters with Marion.
You!
Who, me?
Yeah, you with the vest. How could you tell them we're spies?
Walter, be careful. He's always eavesdropping.
How could you tell them we're spies? They say we're spies. He tells them yes. All of a sudden, I'm a spy. I'll go on What's My Line. They'll never guess.
Where's my daughter?
I'll tell her to come up from the basement.
Yes, tell her to come up from the basement.
What are you, his echo?
Walter, be quiet.
Those lunatics out there accuse us of spying, and this lunatic tells them yes.
If you were listening to the conversation, you should know that I was trying to calm them down.
First no movie on the plane, then this?
It's a simple misunderstanding.
How simple?
If we leave the building, they kill us. Simple enough.
Don't jump to conclusions. There'd be a trial first.
Who is this guy?
Oh, I better call your mother. Maybe I could stop her at the airport.
There's no need for that. I'm in charge. I can handle a crisis.
Handle one? You are one!
Conroy exits.
A man takes his family on vacation. He wants to show them a good time. This is what we have working in our government. And then they wonder why I don't vote.
I've got to make out a report.
Well, that's what you get for taking pictures, Walter.
It's my vacation. My new hobby is photography. Am I interested in their rockets and missiles? I just want to take some pictures.
I wonder if your photos are valuable.
He held the camera backwards. They're pictures of his nose.
I gotta have my head examined. Every time I listen to you, I wind up behind the 8-ball.
Here we go again.
If you had listened to me, we would have taken a cabana at Atlantic Beach.
Every year it must be Atlantic Beach. What's the matter? They need you to work the tide?
No, we had to go to Europe. $5,000 for 3 weeks of uninterrupted diarrhea.
What's so terrible? My brother suggested we see Europe. He had a wonderful time here.
I'm tired of living for your brother. I have to run my life by her brother. That's a hot one.
I realize you're upset. If I could just get some facts.
Mr. and Mrs. Walter Hollander, Newark, New Jersey.
You want to know the facts? The facts are I have a 3-week vacation. I said, let's take a cabana at Atlantic Beach. There's sun. You can play pinochle. There's miniature golf. No, her brother says go to Europe. And behind the Iron Curtain, no less.
Aren't you interested in how the other half lives? We went with you to the Folies Bergère in Paris.
Are you comparing communism to those girls?
As if he appreciates Europe any place. We took him to the Westminster Abbey. His feet hurt. We took him to the St. Peter's in Rome. He got dizzy from looking up. Well, we took him to the Louvre. I hate to tell you what happened there.
It's pronounced Louvre, Louvre. That's all you know.
In the Louvre, he tried to shake hands with the Venus de Milo.
All of these forms. Have either of you had any respiratory ailments?
I have a brother, see. He's a wonderful man.
He's a Nazi.
Do you know what you're talking about?
Take my word for it. He should be wearing an armband.
Here we are, seeking asylum.
I'm not seeking asylum. I didn't do anything. I'm a caterer from New Jersey.
I need your passports, and I have to get some information.
I'm giving you information. It began with my brother, quite a lovely individual.
They should have hung him at Nuremberg.
Have you ever bought anything on credit? Oh, this is the wrong form.
My brother went to Europe last year. He had a wonderful time. He suggested we bring my daughter. It's cultural. Ugh, my brother is an intellectual.
Some intellectual, like Sonny Liston.
And you're just a caterer. Nobody paid you to take pictures of anything or anything like that.
No, Hollander and Blackwell, finest in all northern New Jersey. Here's my card.
Do you work, Mrs. Hollander?
Oh, no, sir. I'm an average housewife.
Oh, some housewife. She's a professional mahjong hustler. She carries her own tiles around.
And you accidentally wandered into a restricted area. I mean, you didn't sneak in or anything?
Look, I told him it looked like private property, but he had to get a photograph. He said, why? 'Cause there's guards and dogs and barbed wire. I said, yes, 'cause there's dogs and guards and barbed wire. Well, what do you think it was, a place that sold guards and dogs and barbed wire?
And they chased you here, and you had the good sense to come in.
My daughter had the presence of mind.
She did the right thing, Mrs. Hollander.
Sure, so you could tell them we're spies. My wife should not have to go through this. She's not a young woman.
What? I'm an old woman?
I didn't mean old. I meant young old.
There's nothing to worry about.
Sure, because I'm a caterer, not a spy. Creative catering, our specialty. We were the first to make bridegrooms out of potato salad.
He does lovely work. I'll say that for him.
Last month, we did her wedding reception. We did the bride's body in Jell-O, her head in a very nice clam dip, with fruit punch sprouting out of her throat. It was a class affair.
I should have this settled in a few days.
What do you mean? What do you think I'm going to do? Live here?
It may require some effort, but we're going to show those communists their police state tactics don't work. I'll have Mr. Conroy see if we have some spare cots.
Cots? I haven't slept on a cot since I was in the Army.
It's an emergency, Mr. Hollander. We'll try our best.
Oh, I got a business. Sam Blackwell can't run the firm. He's the inside man. I'm the outside man. It requires personality.
Conroy enters.
Mr. Hollander, was there some kind of notebook in your suitcase back at the hotel with some kind of party list?
No. Oh, yeah. The Levine wedding estimate.
What is that?
Well, the Levine wedding. How many from the bride's side? How many from the groom's side? How much roast beef? How much grapefruit?
The communist police say they're looking at it and they've broken the code.
What code?
Supply and troop movements.
Troop movements. That's the Levines and the Wassermans. There's more Levines because she's paying for the wedding. And they eat like an army.
It's that damn Krojak trying to frame you.
I can't stay here. This is the height of the season. I got weddings coming up. I got receptions. I got coming out parties. Sam Blackwell can't handle it by himself. He lacks my charm.
So he'll have his son come in and help out. He's over 21.
His son? Who's going to dress that putz?
Your business can manage for a few days.
Oh, you think so? And now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to America. Where's my hat?
Mr. McGee, what do you think's going to happen?
Let him capture me. I'm a caterer.
This is preposterous.
Want
Conroy
information?
exits.
I'll tell him how to make grapefruit sections.
Mr. Hollander, you can't go out there.
Let him go. Go ahead, big shot. Go. We'll be here if you want us. Go. Go ahead, go.
Now, look, the both of you can't do...
Don't think I won't.
Oh, go ahead. Stop talking already. The door's over there.
Mrs. Hollander, don't start trouble.
Oh, you think I'm afraid of those guys?
Oh, no. Why should you be afraid? They're only the secret police. They'll arrest you and torture you. What's to be afraid of?
You think I'm afraid to walk out?
Oh, no. No, go ahead. Get brainwashed. In your case, it'll probably help.
I strongly urge you not to do anything rash, Mr. Hollander.
Oh, let him go. Go.
Walter gets to the door, pauses, then comes quickly back to McGee.
Do you know if any of those guys belong to the Masons?
Susan enters.
I've been hiding down in the basements.
Mr. McGee, this is my daughter, Susan.
I was adopted. How do you do, Mr. McGee?
Axel McGee.
Are we free to go home yet?
Home?
Sure, we're free to go home. Did you see what's doing out there? Thanks to this guy, we'll likely be stuck here 3-4 days.
I'm awfully sorry for this inconvenience. I realize it's terrible while you're on vacation.
I think it's fun.
It can be. Some people might look at upon this as an exciting adventure.
Some people bought Edsels.
Oh, we could be worse off. This place is lovely.
And what are we supposed to do about Seth?
Seth? Oh, my God, Seth!
Oh, forgive her. In all the excitement, she forgot that she also has a son.
I wasn't even worried about Seth. He's at camp.
Yeah, camp ends tomorrow. If we're not back to let him in, what's going to happen? He'll be unsupervised. He'll live in the streets. He'll run amok. You know our son. He takes after your brother.
I just thought of something. Susan's getting married next week.
Oh, that's right. I have a deposit on the hall.
Getting married, huh? I guess you're really anxious to get out of here.
That's a long story, Mr. McGee.
Let's not discuss it. The date's been set.
Well, maybe we have to push the date back. So you better call the owner of the Renaissance Luau and get our deposit back.
And you better call Donald. He'll be worried sick.
I'll call him. Mr. McGee, what's the longest time anybody's ever had to stay here?
We gave asylum to a lady priest who's been living upstairs for a while.
What's a while?
Oh, you know, a while.
How long?
6 years.
6 years. I said, let's go to Atlantic Beach. We'll swim. We'll play pinochle. No. Her brother says, go to Europe. May he rest in peace.
He's not dead.
He should be.
Aye!
Blackout. Act 1, Scene 2, later that night. McGee is seated at his desk. Conroy is lugging a cot across the room. They all look pretty beat.
Oh, you could at least give us a hand, Mr. McGee.
Look, Mr. Conroy, I've been on the phone for the past 6 hours with Washington, with their embassy, with the UN. The whole picture has become clear to me now.
What whole picture?
It's all over the American press. This morning, the FBI captured this country's top secret agent, Adolf Lopert, the Gray Fox.
The Gray Fox?
One of their most brilliant spies. They caught him posing as a student at Saddleback College. Apparently, the Reds went after the first American tourist they could find in retaliation.
Now I suppose they want to trade spies. Adolf Lopert for the Hollanders.
Washington won't hear of it. They're outraged.
Mr. McGee, are you aware that the Sultan of Bashar is here due Friday? I suggest we postpone it for a more auspicious moment.
Nonsense, Mr. Conroy. I should have this cleared up by Friday.
And if you don't?
If I don't, business will go on as usual. I'm running this embassy.
Susan enters.
Oh, Mr. McGee, may I please speak with you?
Certainly. Mr. Conroy, please.
Conroy exits.
I'm sorry about these accommodations, but we're jammed and it's only temporary.
Oh, I hope you're not upset by my parents.
Upset?
They're really sweet people. They just have their own way of expressing themselves. Don't let their formal communication throw you.
Oh, listen, you don't have to explain parents to me. I have 2 parents. I had 2 parents. My father is in court trying to disown me.
Mr. Conroy explained that your mother is Ambassador McGee.
Did he also tell you that if I don't make it here, I'm finished?
Oh, it's not that bad. Everybody makes mistakes. Every time I pick up the papers, I read about some diplomatic crisis cropping up somewhere in the world.
Have you noticed my name in every article?
You're funny. You're just the opposite of Donald.
Who's Donald?
He's my fiancé. He's so confident and totally in command.
Well, I'm confident too, between major international blunders.
I don't know about anybody else, but I'm beginning to like it here.
Gee, that's awfully sweet of you to take that attitude. I really appreciate it.
I mean it. It's very exciting and romantic. Most people spend their entire lives without anything like this happening to them.
So your mother keeps telling me.
Danger stimulates me. You know how many babies were born during the Korean War?
Well, if it's danger you want, take a look out there. There must be 24 professional killers.
Oh, it's hard to see much.
Here, I'll knock off the light.
Oh, sure. Look at them out there. They've got machine guns. Mr. McGee, are you married?
One thing about my work, you don't usually get to meet many attractive American women.
Oh? You don't have a girlfriend or somebody back home?
Actually, my work has caused me to travel a lot, suddenly. What do you do? Are you a model or an actress or something?
No. I danced at the New York City Center Ballet, and I was a folk singer, and I worked at a coffee house in Greenwich Village.
Waitress?
I fixed motorcycles. Oh, my new interest is painting.
No kidding. I paint. You'd hate my work, though. It's all very abstract. I stand back and I splash oil all over everything, and then I run over it with my sneakers and I stick my lunch in it. In fact, My lunch came in second in a showing at Cape Cod.
Oh, I adore abstract art.
Really? I'm a big Jackson Pollock fan. His drippings best express my mental state. After dinner, if you're interested, I'll show you a little statue I made out of some old automobile parts and a bedpan.
Oh, I love it.
You know, you really are very pretty.
Thank you.
The chef enters agitated.
Forgive my intrusion, Mr. McGee, but I must know, what is the decision for dinner?
What's the problem?
McGee turns on the light.
Look, it's him,
Who?
Mr. Hollander.
Oh, be nice to him. I'll see you at dinner.
Susan goes upstairs.
Every dish I name, he says no.
Does he have any suggestions?
Oh, Mr. McGee, we are 4,000 miles from the United States. This is a communist country, and it's 8 o'clock at night. Where do you expect me to get a Sara Lee coffee cake?
Walter and Marion enter.
What kind of place is this?
Oysters.
I will not eat oysters. They're alive when you eat them. I want my food dead. Not sick, not wounded, dead.
Well, it's too late to get anything new. Oh, take a nice piece of veal.
Oh, you must be joking.
Oh, what's wrong with veal? My recipe is one of the great secrets of European cooking.
Really? Let's keep it that way.
Mr. McGee, I have very little. And even if I had known I couldn't get to the market in time, there were soldiers outside.
Try to understand, Mr. Hollander. Our menu here is very elaborate because we entertain international guests all the time.
All I want is a plain piece of boiled chicken.
I'll come in the kitchen and make you something.
Good.
Well, madam, how do you live with this man?
Don't worry, I know what he likes.
I warn you, madam, no one has ever been in my kitchen before. If you do anything to spoil the order of my spice rack, I don't know what I'll do. Do you hear me? I don't know what I'll do.
The chef storms out.
Oh, it's good to know. Our food is being cooked by a Meshuggah.
I spoke to Barney Silverman this morning.
Did you tell him not to drive to Newark Airport with the station wagon? Because we might be 6 years late?
Mrs. Hollander, I wanted to speak to you about the phone. Naturally, you're free to use it if you could just limit your calls to a few dozen.
Oh, this is nothing for her. She has to alert everyone in Newark, individually, like Paul Revere.
I called the Kleins, and they'll keep an eye on Seth till we get back.
You couldn't find a worse couple?
What's wrong with the Kleins?
They have orgies.
How do you know?
I catered one.
Oh,
Susan enters with her bewildered-looking sister Drobny.
Mom! Hey, look who I met.
Sister Drobny, what brings you down here?
I heard all the commotion, and I was coming to see what was going on upstairs.
These are the Hollanders. They came here today much in the same way you did 6 years ago.
Are you refugees?
Refugees. You know how much I paid for this shirt?
we were at the Vatican. We saw your boss.
The phone rings. She and McGee go for it, but McGee gets it first.
If it's for me, I'm free to talk.
Hello? Yes. I better take this inside. Excuse me a moment.
McGee exits.
Sister Drobny's got a little tiny room on the top floor, and she practically never leaves it.
Don't you go crazy?
I'm a guest through the courtesy of your government, and I do not want to make a nuisance.
Can't you ever leave here?
Well, only if there is some vast, drastic change in national policy. I have many friends who could help me to escape, but my duty is to come and return, and someday guide my flock.
But until you guide your flock, you stay in your room?
Well, in recent years, I have developed a hobby, and it does pass the lonely hours.
What do you do?
Sister Drobny is a magician.
Go ahead, pick a card, any card. I am not forcing.
That's all I need.
Oh, come on, Dad. Be a sport.
Go on, take one, anyone.
Walter, don't be rude.
Walter reluctantly takes a card.
Jack of spades.
Wrong. 5 of diamonds.
Oh, damn it. Oh, sorry.
Sister Drumming has all kinds of interesting things up there. Don't you, sister?
Yes, doves. Doves. I have doves. I raise them. And then I transform them before your eyes.
Why don't you go get some? I'd love to see them.
Really?
Of course we would. Yes. Yes. Won't we, Walter?
Of course. Why do you think I had us trapped here?
Oh, be down in a minute. An audience. An audience. Let's see, I'll do my rings, my fancy rings, and then I'll do the handcrafted reduction, and then there's the sunny, brilliant disappearing balls.
Oh, terrific. It's the Tonight Show.
Be right back. Oh, don't go anywhere.
Sister Drobny exits upstairs.
Imagine staying in your room and practicing magic for 6 years.
What about us, Walter? What if the same thing happens to us?
Where do you compare? We're innocent tourists. She's a priest. I'm sure she could get out of here if she made some effort, but you know how it is with those people. The one who suffers the most gets a promotion.
Conroy enters.
Oh, Mr. Hollander, I think we've solved your dinner problem.
What?
The chef is making you hair.
What?
Hair.
What's here?
Rabbits.
Pardon me?
Here is Rabbit.
It's the closest thing to chicken the chef could find.
Rabbit.
Hers is delicious.
Bunny rabbit?
If you don't ask him, he eats anything you put in front of him.
You mean a rabbit? Like Peter Rabbit?
If I told you it was chicken, you wouldn't know the difference.
I will not eat the Easter bunny. It's like eating squirrels. Look, can't you order out? There must be a Chinese restaurant in this town.
I'm
Conroy
back.
exits, and Sister Drobny re-enters, overloaded with all kinds of colorful, magical apparatus.
Oh, she's back.
I could only bring a few small things, but that should be enough for the first few hours of show.
A few hours? How many hours does it last?
Oh, I've dreamed of this moment for years. What miracle shall I perform first?
I don't know. Maybe walking on water?
Oh, my son is 14 years old. I won't see him until he's 20.
As you can see, I have nothing in my sleeves.
Isn't it wonderful, Walter? A tricky priest.
I have nothing in my cylinder. I have nothing in the cage. Watch closely. I take the dove and put it in the cylinder and place it here, say the magic words, and then voila!
She looks and is surprised to find an empty cage.
Where's the rabbit? I had a rabbit in there. Where's the rabbit?
The chef enters holding a live rabbit.
How do you like it? Rare, medium, or well done?
There's my rabbit!
Drobny goes for the chef. The chef runs. Walter is running from the chef, and Marion is ducking to avoid getting trampled. The room is bedlam, and McGee enters.
Stop at once! This is a United States Embassy, and I mean to run it like one.
By now, it is a man house, and we black out. Act 1, Scene 3. Lights up on the stage. It is 5 days later, and it looks it. Marion irons her robe, holding her bag on her arm. The room is messier now, and items of clothing are either drying or just strewn about on chairs. McGee is on the phone.
Mr. Krojack, your charges of espionage are ridiculous. They're tourists, and we will not turn them over to you. No, you will not wait them out. They've been here for 5 days, and they're prepared to stay for 5 years if necessary. Don't threaten me, and don't threaten them. You know, you're only doing this because we captured Adolf Lopert, your illustrious gray fox. Hello? Hello?
Boy, they're stinkers.
Mrs. Hollander, could you please remove your ironing board?
Where should I iron? If I go into the kitchen, the chef starts to cry.
If everybody could just stay in their room.
How much can a person just keep locked up in a cloakroom? Listen, I'm worried about my Walter. First, he wrote his congressman, and he got back a mimeographed form letter. Then he wrote his senator, and he got back a mimeographed form letter. And then he wrote our son, Seth, and he got back a mimeographed form letter. I am okay. I am eating. I am getting plenty of rest. Your loving son, Seth.
That's because your husband writes him 3 letters a day. Don't worry, he worries about that boy too much. Please, Mrs. Hollander, remove your ironing board.
She begins to fold up the ironing board, and Conroy enters.
He should be here any minute.
Who should?
The Sultan of Bashir, or did you forget?
The Sultan? Wasn't that called off?
I suggested postponement, but you assured everyone you would have matters settled and business would proceed as usual.
Oh, let me think.
You know, the Sultan is a dictator and a very temperamental man. Any late ripple could hurt your mother's oil deal, and I'd hate to be in your shoes if that happens.
Conroy exits.
Maybe I can still call him and delay it.
McGee exit, and Walter and Marion enter.
I got a telegram this morning.
I'm not interested.
Sam Blackwell caters a Sweet 16 party.
I'm not interested.
He gets a special price on the meats.
Oh, I'm not listening.
He doesn't use our regular guy, you hear? He tries to buy cheap.
I'm not listening.
4 guests go home that night, and what happens? They get food poisoning.
Oh, my God.
They're in the hospital because your cousin looked for bargains.
Oh, I bet they'll sue.
Oh, now you want to hear?
Are they?
I don't want to tell you. You're not interested.
Tell me.
No, listen, you're not interested. Why should I tell you?
Tell me.
A foggy day in London town. It had me low.
Walter, you know what you are? You're a sadist.
Why? A minute ago, you weren't interested.
I'm not interested.
You're not? Good. A foggy day in...
Grouch, are you going to answer me?
Are they suing? Is that what you asked? No, they're not suing. They're not suing. We're suing them for low resistance to tainted meats.
Walter.
Of course they're suing. What do you expect from poisoned people?
Oh, my God.
If I could get Cousin Sam here, I'd crush his fakakta head.
Be thankful nobody died.
Yes, Marion. We're thinking of making that our slogan.
Sister Drobny enters from upstairs, struggling to get out of a straitjacket.
Could somebody help me get out of this, please?
Oh, not now with the magic tricks.
I don't know how Houdini did this.
Don't pay any attention to him, sister. I think it's marvelous that a woman of the cloth has a hobby besides just God.
A person builds a catering firm for 20 years. He goes away and leaves his partner in charge. He begins poisoning customers, poisoning them.
Faith in the Lord, my son.
I have faith in the Lord, sister. If he can hear me now, please crush Sam Blackwell's head.
Faith.
The phone rings and Marion gets it.
Hello? Hello? What? Oh, yes. No, hold it. It's New Jersey for you. Must be Cousin Sam. Be nice, we all make mistakes.
Faith in the Lord, my son.
Hello? Yes, this is he. Yes, go ahead. Hello, Cretin. How are you, Cretin? Poison any more people, Cretin? How many? Oh, wonderful. Keep up the good work. Oh, 2 more keeled over. They're dropping like flies. Murderer, murderer. I can't hear you. Talk louder, murderer. Lawyer. Well, what did the lawyer say? Oh, really? He feels they have a case, eh? Sam, when I get back to the States, I'm going to rent a car and I'm going to run you over. You understand? Hello? Murderer, I can't hear you. Blackwell, louder. Operator, I can't hear the murderer. Sam, you're finished as a caterer. You put together your last fruit compote.
By now, Marion and Drobny are tangled up together. Walter is on the phone yelling, and with the room in chaos, the Sultan of Bashir and his veiled wives enter. Conroy precedes them in by a few steps.
Mr. McGee, His Majesty has arrived. Oh, my God. Oh, my God, McGee, where are you? Where
Conroy
are you?
runs off to get McGee, and Marion enters.
Oh, what have we got here? Lawrence of Arabia?
How do you do, Sultan?
Sultan, you know him?
He's the Sultan of Bashir. Are you ignorant?
What do you do, hang around the UN building?
I am His Royal Majesty, the ruler of the people of Bashir. I am here to see Ambassador McGee,
How do you do?
and these are my wives.
Oh, hello. May I take your veils?
I'm Walter Hollander, a caterer from New Jersey.
Drobny tries wrenching free from her straitjacket, but fails.
Sister, you'll have a heart attack. Please stop. You're no spring chicken, you know.
Sister Drobny is embarrassed and leaves.
I'm a guest of Ambassador McGee.
I hope you didn't have any trouble getting by all of those soldiers outside the embassy. Walter and I are wanted.
I know where I read about the Sultan of Bashir recently. Didn't you fellas put down an uprising?
Eh?
Didn't you have some kind of revolution or something?
Where is the ambassador?
Sure, you killed all those people. I read about it. That wasn't nice what you did to those people. They were protesting peacefully.
There are two sides to that affair, my friend.
What kind of two sides? A few poor workers go on strike, you gotta shoot them?
If you could see them, they are vermin. There is no other way to teach them.
Walter, what are you talking about? Something you know nothing about.
I don't know politics. What's the matter with you? Don't you read the papers? This guy kills his people like you use your Visa card.
You're in a bad mood.
I did not come here to be received by a pair of dogs. Where is the ambassador?
You know, I always read things in the papers, and I get frustrated. Being a little shot from New Jersey, I never get a chance to express my opinion to a real big shot.
No one asked you.
McGee enters.
Your Majesty, forgive us.
I will not stay here unless I receive an apology from your government.
Mr. Hollander, leave this room immediately.
What's your trouble, Aladdin?
Walter, you're in a very bad mood this morning. Let's go.
I live here. I'm not going anyplace. I pay taxes. Why? Because this bum has some oil wells?
Your Majesty, please come inside.
You are an insolent swine.
I'll hit you a shot in the chops. I'll have to use your headdress for a bandage.
You are an insolent pig. Don't threaten me.
What is this guy doing here anyway?
That's none of your business.
This is my business. I pay taxes. This building is rented with my money.
Walter, butt out.
I don't like the idea of my government doing business with this guy.
Mr. Hollander, that's something for the government to decide.
I am the government.
Oh, listen to him. He's the government.
Well, what do you think the government is? It's little people like you and me. Well, maybe not you.
I have never been insulted in such a manner.
Your Majesty, I beg your forgiveness.
Take a walk, Majesty. That's how this country gets in trouble, dealing with guys like him.
In your opinion.
Yeah, my opinion. I read the OC Register.
I did not come here to be received by a pair of pigs or be humiliated. Relations between us are at an end.
He and his wives move to exit.
Your Majesty.
They go out with McGee in pursuit.
And every time you bring someone here into this house who's a bum like him, they get the same. Come on, Marion.
For a man who cheats on his taxes, he's certainly a big shot.
Blackout. Ladies and gentlemen, our cast. Sister Drobny, Kate Barkley. Ambassador McGee, Carol Shallon. Conroy, Louis Marcus. Axel McGee, George Zilligan. Marion Hollander, Elisa Kaplan Center. Walter Hollander, Artie Rosenstein. Susan Hollander, Esther Chun. Crojack, Michael Ponte de Corvo. Chef, Lee McMorris. The Sultan of Bashir, Larry Irion. And the Sultan's wives can stand when I say your first names. Sunita. Karen. Cheryl. Wendy. And Catherine. And I am John Edmiston, your reader of the italicized word. We thank you for coming this evening, and we would like to invite you back to see this show in its entirety on the main stage in September, when and if we ever get permission to do it. Thank you for coming.